Are you a leader? Or an scribe leader in search of how best to influence the people around you? Are you in search on how to master the art of effective communication? Are you a manager attempting to generate massive ROI and influence your team? Look no further. The Premier Communications Formula is the course for you. It's a 26-week e-course designed specifically to help you go from whatever goal you have right now to help you get there in 6 months. I know, immediate results. It's packed with content, information, all designed to help you become better. We're going to have guest speakers, live interaction with our community, all this designed and created to help work on your influence, your mindset, and your communication. I'm so excited to be on this journey with you. I look forward to taking you to the next level and seeing the great results you're going to have. Have a great day.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's Michael Laidler here in the Premier Communications Formula. I'm so excited to be here with you today, which is a beautiful Saturday, July 21st. And you guys never seen me on this platform before as far as promoting one of my e-courses, which is the Premier Communications Formula. I'm so excited about this program because I've talked to so many people in my life that have wanted to have goals, or they set goals, but they never achieve them. And this program, the Premier Communications Formula, does just that. It walks you through your mindset, your ability to connect through communication, and your ability to influence. Today, I have a special guest who will be appearing on the Premier Communications Formula next Wednesday. The reason why we're doing this is to give you guys a little bit of a preview of what he has to offer. I will go ahead and let him introduce himself, explain a little bit about who he is, and we'll go from there.
Hey, Michael, can you see and hear me, brother? Coming through? I love these technology problems. Michael all do stuff. So, hey, real quick, everybody, my name is Clay Green. And I am a high-performance coach, high-performance expert, high-performance trainer. My area of expertise has been developed over about 20 or 30 years, and that's why it's important. Let me back up a little bit here, this introduction. It's important for you, for me, for all of us, once we start learning things or when we decide we want to learn something, that we validate that person we're learning from. We look at them and we say, yeah, okay, this person, he's got some expertise, he's got some experience. And I want to say, Mike, man, I'm ecstatic to be here because of your expertise, because of your background and your training and gone through and have been through. I'm honored that you and I met, and I'm excited about that. And I want to let you know, Mike, of course, Mike, everything that you've got to deliver in this is really cool. All right. To my background, real quick, to let you know where I'm coming from.
Hey, Clay, real quick. Someone said you sound really low on your end.
Let me try turning my volume.
Yeah.
Is this better?
Going? Yeah, we can hear you. I can hear you better now too. Yeah, somebody, Maria said she couldn't hear you that good.
Ouch! I'm sorry. That's a bummer. Okay, so that's interesting because I had to turn my volume up really loud, so it sounds like you're yelling at me.
Well, I'm not yelling.
I'll deal with that. I'll take one out or something. I'll take definitely one in. All right, so my background, let's see. 30 years ago, I was coming out of high school, kind of, roughly, and I knew that I wanted to be a business owner. I knew that I had a desire to be a business owner. And I tried multiple things over the last 30 years. None of those businesses took off. None of those businesses, I would say, worked out the way that I wanted them to. And so I struggled for that whole time, well, somewhere around 25 of those years. And in that 25 years, though, I attained incredible experiences, incredible dots, the way Steve Jobs said it, right? If you look back, you can connect the dots, but you can't connect them looking forward. So looking back, the dots are connected like this for me. I was a nuclear reactor operator in the U.S. Navy. Not only was I a reactor operator, but I trained other nuclear reactor operators. As I was training those nuclear reactor operators, I was introduced. That was my first experience and my first chance to actually taste what it felt like to be a professional trainer. So as I was training these guys, I was literally teaching them to sit there and stay focused on a very small amount of information. It's a very complex system. They had, just one big panel full of information, and they had to sit there and stay focused on that for 6 hours at a time. Never mind that you're on a submarine, I'm going to say in excess of 400 feet under the water, or I'm sorry, was it 40? I can't remember what I'm supposed to say and what I wasn't. It was a few years ago. But they were under the water. They were running drills. At any moment, anything could happen. And they had to stay focused on just their area of responsibility instead of things that we would do to try to distract them. Because as soon as they got distracted, man, we would cause a problem. Now, looking back, I know I was just following their teaching and their training and how to do that job. But looking back and what I understand now, wow, I was teaching these guys how to use the state of flow. Now, fast forward a little bit, I stayed with the professional training. I dove into computers, sort of. I'm not really a computer guy, but Oh, can you hear me, brother? I'm sorry. Okay, so I guess I'm gonna hold this. So computers, not computers, but making the chips inside the computers. I was an Intel engineer, but the majority of that time, for over 15 years, I spent in the semiconductor industry. I was primarily a trainer, so I've got a boatload of training experience, high pressure, high value decision making under high pressure situations, literally life and death decisions and stuff like that. A few years later, well, not a few years later, in the middle there, I kind of fell in love with motorcycles. The heck's that got to do anything, right? Well, the motorcycle story connects like this. It took me about 2 years, but I realized all this stuff that I was learning came down to something as small as this. I don't know if you saw it or not. That little twitch that you see there with my hand, that's the throttle hand. And when you're holding the throttle on a motorcycle and you're riding a motorcycle and you just make a little twitch like that, something that small can actually kill you. It can cause you to crash on a motorcycle, and that can kill you. So I all of a sudden learned how important it was to help people not react, not have this twitch, if you will. And so in order to not have that twitch, you have to understand how your brain's working. And you have to operate in a certain way on a motorcycle. Now we get to about 5 years ago. I was trying to build another kind of business. I was trying to build a software as a service business. And in the middle of this class, I hit a deer on my motorcycle going 85 miles an hour. 85 miles an hour, a deer came out and literally hit me perpendicular. It hit right in front of that throttle hand, and I felt its neck break around my throttle hand. Now, a lot of people could call this a come to Jesus moment where you have this life-threatening situation. But guess what? I was in the U.S. Navy when I was 21. I was on submarines in my mid-20s. I've had a couple life and death situations already. I've already figured out how important my life is, and I'm excited about it. So this wasn't that come to Jesus or that moment like that. This was a moment where everything was happening, and I was connected to everything. And I performed because I didn't crash. I should have crashed. There's no question about it. I can tell you all kinds of things that should have put me on the ground. But I cannot believe that I did not crash. A couple days later, I'm still scratching my head going, how in the world did I survive that? Never mind not crashing. And I found a book. And that book got me into the brain. That book explained how my brain was operating and how I was not crashing, how I was able to perform and how I didn't crash. Now, this little introduction isn't about that book, and it isn't about the brain, and it isn't about all that. This the reason I'm here today is for freaking Mike, for training that he's doing and we're doing because it's so awesome. So how does this connect? Here's how this all connects. When you start looking at the things and the topics that Mike's talking about, Michael's the goal setting. I'm sorry, man, I'm just completely into my zone here. The goal setting and things like that. All the other high performance topic tactics, the stuff that you're trying to do on a daily basis. When you start looking at picking one of those things, we could call it going to the gym. We could call it changing your diet. We could call it. I think I've seen Michael's calendar, and we could call it organizing your calendar better, managing your day. Any of these tactics, if you're not able to apply them, they're worthless. They're completely worthless. If, on the other hand, you're able to apply them, they're priceless. Whatever it is that works for you, find that tactic that causes you to be able to manage your tasks and stay focused on your priorities, manage your day. You find that stuff and you apply it, it changes your life. So my specific expertise, and this is what I'm so excited to be able to connect with people like Michael. My specific expertise is in enabling people to apply those tactics. I can teach you tactics too, and we're going to talk about some of those tactics today. But understanding how to apply it, how to get this part of your body, your brain, working so that you can actually get it done, that's basically my expertise. Does that make sense? Does that all cover everything?
I know it covered it for me. I don't know how everybody else felt about it, but I know it went really far from what I had to hear. One of the things that people couldn't see, but I was taking so many notes, and it wasn't funny for me. I was on the sideline, always learning, always a learner. One of the things that I really wrote down was when you said that all these tactics, all these different things people learn, if it's worthless without the right mindset, essentially.
But yes,
Yeah, you can't. Well, I could teach you how to ride a bike. I can show you how to shoot a firearm. I can show you how to build a nuclear reactor. But if you don't have that mindset to succeed, or you don't have that mindset to be able to overcome what happens next, it's tough.
tough to say the least. So I realize it's like it's not necessarily overcoming what comes next. This mindset stuff is so important that it's like in the smallest, tiniest details of how you set goals,
Mm-hmm.
our unconscious mind is going to try and stop us. So really understanding what's going on in the brain, and I've got a bunch of videos, and maybe we're going to get into it here if we have time. Um, but really understanding and committing to the what may seem like a silly practice, what may seem like you don't see the point in it, but every successful
Mm-hmm.
entrepreneur, every successful
Mm-hmm.
person, whoever you're, and I don't care how you define success, whoever you point to, pick somebody you call successful, and I can guarantee that what I call the three core habits, they do them. They may not call them the same thing, and that's why I'm here. I'm going to be honest with you. That's why I'm here. I'm here to spread the message about these three core habits. I don't give a damn if you buy this course. I don't care if you come follow me on Facebook. I don't care. If I can convince you to further explore, further grow these three core habits today, right now, I'm good. If one person says, "Oh my God, I'm going to start doing that," or "I'm going to change how I do that because of this conversation," we're in. I win. I don't. You know what I'm saying? That's why I'm here. I'm just letting you guys know my purpose. But yeah, those three core habits are what I call the enabling habits. And so to start trying to apply the tactics so that you are faced with obstacles, you have to be doing those habits. Yeah.
I agree. And I'm with Clay when he talks about how, of course, we want you to buy the course, how, of course, we want you to buy into all this. But in the end, even if you buy the course but you don't apply it, then it's going to be like these books sitting on my shelf behind me. Then they're useless. In other words, the core habits, the 3 core habits he's going to talk about, that's how you're actually going to be able to prepare yourself to use what we're talking about. Because like I said at the beginning of the presentation, the beginning of the Facebook Live, was a lot of people I talk to, they talk about setting goals. They talk about, Michael, I have this goal and that goal. And then I say, well, how are you going to achieve it? And then the line goes silent. Or they're like, oh, I hear my kid talking. I'm like, no, that's my son talking. What are you talking about? But it's one of those things that a lot of people don't think about because they have these magnificent goals, but they don't take steps. And that's part of this program, is to first get you in that mindset, which Clay's going to dive into with the state of flow, get into that idea, that concept of, okay, what do I need to do today to create a mindset for myself to go from point A to point B? And if you guys can gain value out of just that, then we want you into the course. We want you enrolled into where you can see the more details of what he's talking about on paper, on a recorded video. That's what we want, because that's how you're going to really learn. But if we can at least give you something today, you will see that free preview that I put on that social media image, because that's what it is. It's a preview to the more in-depth training that we're going to offer later on into this course. So, Clay, if you want to start touching on those 3 habits, those 3 core habits to get people going, it might make you sweat, but
So here's what I love how you tied it in, man. You connected it all, and I'm like, oh, I want to go there. I want to go here. I want to go there. So like you mentioned state of flow. State of flow requires. I'm gonna let you know right now. My process of teaching someone state of flow tactics takes 3 months, and that's to share the information and watch somebody start applying the habits. It took about, I want to say, 9.5 months for, I'm thinking about one specific client that really saw an impact. So when we start talking about state of flow, that is a whole different course. It's a whole different way of living your days. Everything, and guess what? In there is a whole lot of the principles and tactics that we're going to talk about in this course. So the tactics, the principles, the practices, they are very congruous. But in order to do this stuff, in order to get your business going, in order to apply the state of flow, I don't even let you come into the state of flow practices, for example, or the training, until you've got these 3 habits down. Now, why? Here's why. Here's the abridged version. And you see me checking my phone, my watch here. Do we want to? Are we side by side, or are we like? I'm not watching. We're side by side. Do you? Have I poked you in the eye? Okay, so there's the question. Here's the question. How deep do we want to go? Because we got time right now. I could do this. Here's why it's important to understand. If you understand why, then all of a sudden you understand how important these 3 habits are. You get it. Like I'm not exaggerating when I say these 3 habits to somebody trying to change their life, to do self-development, to build a business, to hit a goal. These 3 habits are almost as important as just keep breathing. Because you're going to die. All right, so here's where we're going to go real quick. You set a goal, right? You set a goal and you're going to try and attain something. And as soon as you start stepping, you enter a world, and this is a little phrase that I've coined, and I haven't heard anybody else talk about it like this: belief circles. If you set your goal outside your belief circles, now when I say belief circles, let's just throw a random number, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to be able to guess this. I'm guessing that nobody on this call has made more than $1 million in a month. So, yeah, has anybody made more than $1 million in a month from their own personal efforts, from their own personal sales? Okay, and if you have, congratulations. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with you, but I'll be surprised. So, setting a goal to make $1 million this month is outside your belief circles because you haven't done it. Yes, I just said that because you haven't done it. If you want to see if something is in your belief circles, the first question is, have you done it? Because if you haven't done it, and it might, like, for example, here's an example. Can you get up right now, Mike, and hop on just your left foot all the way to the bathroom and use the toilet?
Yes. Yeah, actually, I probably could.
Have you done it?
Oh, no, I haven't done it yet.
Okay.
I probably won't do it.
Here's how the unconscious mind works.
Mm-hmm.
Check this out. He was confident he could do it. He's like, yep, I can do that. He's never done it. He's never actually hopped that path.
Mm-mm.
His unconscious mind gave him the confidence to answer that question, yes.
Mm-hmm.
But guess what? It's outside his belief circles.
Mm.
On the other hand, can you get up and walk to the bathroom and use it?
Yes.
Yes. This subtle difference, because you're not going to have somebody sitting there asking this question for every goal you set. You know, obviously, using the bathroom isn't a very big goal, is it? But do it on one leg, or how about walking on your hand?
Yeah.
No,
I can't do. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that one. You got me on the left foot, but I ain't doing my hands.
Not even going to try that.
No, I'm not going to try that one.
So, whether or not your next goal is inside or outside your belief circles is one huge awareness moment. Because if it is outside, here's what's going to happen. And I'll tell you right now, Mike, I almost guarantee anybody that puts a goal down and they haven't done it, I have yet to meet someone that really believes, not that they can do it, but that they're going to do it. There's a difference there, right? I'm not asking, do you believe you can? It's, are you going to do it? There's this huge Grand Canyon-sized gap between, I believe I can do it, and I'm going to do it. And if you're setting goals that you believe you can do, you are setting goals outside your belief circles. What happens? You set a goal, you start walking toward it, your unconscious mind is terrified. It's afraid. It's going to start messing with you. It's going to start blocking you. I don't know how that shows up for you. There's an infinite number of ways that could happen. Anything from indecision. I don't know if I should run Facebook ads or YouTube ads. I don't know if I should spend the next hour working on my copy, or my emails, or my copy on my Facebook. I don't, indecision. Or does it show up like, ooh, I can't release this video because there was a little booger hanging down. It's not perfect. You see me keep wiping, right? So, or this annoying little dangling thing that I'm trying to work with to keep the microphone in the right place. It's not perfect, right? But if you're waiting for it to be perfect before you release it, that might be how your unconscious mind is stopping you. Indecision, imperfection, overwhelm, stress, and anxiety. You sit down to go to work on your Facebook ad or your Facebook content or whatever you're working on, and all of a sudden your kids distract you, or the checkbook, or Instagram. You're scrolling Instagram or Pinterest or whatever. Distraction. Any of the, I don't know which one it is, but you figuring that out is important. So your subconscious starts to stop you. You're working towards your goal. Your unconscious mind says, I'm scared. All of a sudden it says, because your goal is outside your belief circles.
Mm-hmm.
So the gotcha is currently we aren't usually aware that we're distracted from our goal until the subconscious has got us blocked. That could be like 3 days into a Netflix binge. Maybe it's 3 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
You're on a diet. Now we're talking about physical fitness. You didn't go to the gym yesterday, even though you wanted to. Is it going to be a week? Is it going to be a month? Is it going to be today? Diet. You didn't want to eat that bag of chips, but damn, it was good. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Making these little micro decisions are what we're talking about as far as becoming aware of when your unconscious mind is forcing you in a direction instead of letting you go where you want to go. Now, so that, I'm saying it again, awareness. That awareness is vital. 2 things I've shared so far. Awareness of, is it in or out of your belief circles, and awareness of whether you're being blocked or not. These 3 habits. Awareness is the most biggest important thing that you can take away from these 3 habits. The other thing, so awareness, for example, if all of a sudden you become hyper aware as soon as your unconscious mind starts messing with you, and you're able to just go, I don't want to be distracted right now. I'm going to keep working toward my goal. It's a lot easier than if you try to do that here, because now you got to get over all this blockage
Mm-hmm.
and then get it done. So there's so many, that's just one quick little advantage of it. Then the other piece of the 3 habits, awareness is number 1. Number 2 is rewiring or reprogramming. So if you can take what normally stops you and rewire it to help you,
Mm-hmm.
which is the same thing as setting your goals inside your belief circles. That's the tactic of that. That's one of the tactics of doing that. Taking that goal and breaking it down into manageable sizes that fit inside your belief circles. So now all of a sudden we're talking about awareness, increasing your awareness, and we're talking about rewiring and reprogramming your mind. That was the quick, short, high-level version. Now, you ready to see what you're up against?
Let's do it. What are we up against?
Here's what we're up against. We're up against everything in existence. The way that you and I interact with the outside world through our 5 senses and our inside world through our neural network is something we basically cannot overcome.
Mm-hmm.
I'll explain what I mean. I'm going to poke you in the eye.
Go ahead.
You ready? I'm going to move my hands. Here you go. Yeah. I'll say. Here's the go. 1, I'm not going to do it fast. This is not like one of the blink game, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to do that. This is just, I'm going to move my finger nice and slow. And obviously I can't do this, but take a second and make believe you're sitting here with me in this coffee shop.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm sorry for the background noise. I'm in a coffee shop, mobile lifestyle. Yeah. Anyway.
It's true.
So I'm good. Yeah, we can talk about all that too. I'm going to poke you in the eye. So we're gonna ignore the internet from a technology standpoint. Now, this is where it becomes important to remember my background and my training. Intel engineer, nuclear reactor operator. I understand what's happening inside your computer and can explain it to you at a subatomic level. Quantum physics, all
Mm-hmm.
that crap. That's where I played for 20 plus years. Okay? So I'm playing in that thing. Now I'm going to go into your head, my head, and I'm going to explain what's happening. So here's the goal as I poke you in the eye. Mike, don't blink.
Okay.
Okay? Here's my question, or here's multiple questions. Step 1, do you think you can not blink?
Oof. Depends on how long it takes, but my answer would be no. I don't think I'll be able to not blink.
Okay, so you think you are going to blink no matter
Yes.
what.
Yes.
I agree.
Hmm.
And now I'm not going to sit here and make your eye dry out going so slow. But the point is, I usually tell people, I'll give you $1 million if you don't blink. And they'll be like, oh, I'll try. I'll do it. You know, and it's staring at me. Now, for one, I'm not sitting next to you, so relax.
Mhm.
But two, do you think I'm going to give you $1 million?
No.
So I'm going to make sure you blink, even if I touch your eye and keep pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing and put some point your body is going to protect itself.
Mm-hmm.
Just like a few minutes ago Mike did this and he's trying to protect himself,
Yeah.
right? So you cannot control that action. That's called a reaction. Now, which if you remember, why is this so important to me? If you remember, I was talking about that reaction killing people. I've seen people crash motorcycles and hurt themselves really bad. I have friends that have died because they reacted inappropriately in the wrong situation on motorcycles. So
Mm-hmm.
it became really damn important to me to learn this stuff. Now I'm going to share how this is happening in here so that you get what I'm saying and start using these 3 habits. So love you, Mike. I love you, brother, but I am kind of past selling shit right now. These 3 habits are everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll explain. Here we go. So the goal is I'm going to poke you in the eye gently. I'm not going to actually make physical contact. We're
Yeah.
here
That'd
across
be,
the
yeah.
internet. Don't blink though.
Okay.
And I want to show you. So the goal is to show how we interact with the outside world, how our brain is actually working, so that you are excited and want to and understand how freaking important these 3 habits are. Why every
Mm-hmm.
successful person that you know does these 3 habits in one form or another.
Mm-hmm.
All right, here we go. I'm coming towards your eye, and I want to freeze time. So I'm going to stop, and I'm going to call this moment now. Okay? Right now, there's some stuff happening. Okay, so this is moment. We froze time now, not before now. So here's now. I'm going to reverse time a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
All that stuff that happened in the past before now,
Mm-hmm.
that's a memory. Now, I can explain to you how memory works and how our brains maximize the efficiency of how they operate using memory. And a bit of that is going to be in the following discussion. But we're not going to spend a whole lot of time on memory. The bottom line of this is it ain't real. It's in the past. It's done. It does not exist. Also, going here and we freeze time at now, there's the future. There's the anticipation. I'm probably going to keep moving my fingers slowly toward the camera, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't exist either. You can imagine it. You can anticipate it. You can think it might happen, but it does not exist. I want to tear apart now. I want to focus on now, right now. Now equates in our human consciousness to milliseconds and microseconds. That's 0.001 and 0.000001. So somewhere between 0.0000, I lost count. Anyway, times 10 to the negative 6 and times 10 to the negative 3
Mm-hmm.
seconds. So it's not actually all happening at once. It can't, because we're dealing with the physical world.
Mm-hmm.
In this case, as I move my finger towards you, we're dealing, and we're talking about the visual cortex, we're talking about our eyes,
Mm-hmm.
we're dealing with photons. What are photons? Mike, you familiar?
That's back in the neurons and other stuff. That's a while ago, with atoms and all the other stuff.
Okay, yeah, you're right. You're right. Yes. So photons are subatomic, so they're smaller than atoms.
Mm-hmm.
They're smaller than any of the particles in the atom. So they're smaller than electrons, neutrons, and protons. So photons are the tiny itty bitty little particles that we call light.
Mm.
So right now, let's take a moment. Let's freeze this moment in time again. Everybody take a second and look at my finger. Just kind of freeze what you're doing, wherever you're at, walking through the park, stop. And look at my finger. Stop right now and look at my finger. Now, keep looking where you're looking, and I'm going to show you something. If you take your two fingers right where you're at, you pick a spot in front of you, like my finger, and you pull your fingers off to the side until they disappear, right? All of a sudden you can't see your fingers, and then you can see your finger, and then you can't see your finger. So over here's that one, and over here's that one, and then you imagine a circle of where this visible and invisible line happens. That circle exists because light is because photons from the sun, in this case, I'm right beside a big window. These photons are coming in and hitting all this stuff, and they're hitting the maybe it's a light bulb where you're at, and the photons are hitting things like my finger, and it's bouncing off these things, and it's going in our eye. There's some tiny number of those actually entering the little black hole that we call our eye. That hole takes the image. All those photons go back, and through the lens of our eye, they flip. Do you remember that from grade school?
Yeah.
Everything we see is actually upside down. That still blows my mind. It's so basic, so simple, but it blows my mind. I don't know why. All right, anyway. So these photons are entering your eye right now. Everything in existence. Now, I'm talking about the visual cortex, but the reality is everything, touch, smell, taste, hearing, everything follows a similar pattern, not the exact same path, but a very similar. So let's go back to now. Photons are going in your eye. Now this is a chain of events. So I'm trying to break down what's happening now. And I'm going to make a list. And it's incredibly important that you understand what happens in what order. So maybe make a little list of this. Maybe take notes. Maybe write this stuff down. Here we go. Now, photons are hitting my finger. They're bouncing off my finger, and they're bouncing off my shirt. They're going into your eye hole. They're flipping upside down, and then they're hitting on both sides, right? They're hitting a little photoreceptor, kind of like a camera, kind of like the camera on your camera lens, right? They're hitting this little sensor on the back of your eye. And that little sensor is literally measuring how many, where they're at, and what frequency they're at. Because the frequency is what makes the colors. Do you remember that? Right? So black, dark black, like the dark shadows in your bookshelf or the black chair, the dark black is because all the photons are being absorbed in that point. The red, the blue, the brown that you're wearing, the other colors that everybody else is experiencing around them, all the color, all the frequencies are being absorbed except this light blue one for my shirt, for example, in this spot. But in this spot, over here, over my shoulder, it's a different frequency. So anyway, it's called analog to digital conversion. So what's happening right back here, about 1.5 inches behind your eye, 2 inches, depending on how big your head is, maybe an inch, right about here, there are two little analog to digital converters. That means that all of a sudden, hang on, now, not before now, not after now, now, in that moment we call now, those photons are hitting that spot. They're getting converted to a digital signal. Now we're on a wire. Now it's not a real wire, and I don't know how good you can see that wire here, but this is not in your brain, it's not a real wire. It's a synapse connected to another synapsis, connected to another synapsis, connected to another little synaptic connections. The reason I'm saying it's like a wire is because our optic perception goes through the same path. And I'm going to lay that path out in a second. Again, this is where it gets a little different. Because obviously the things that we smell, taste, and hear aren't going through the same path. Yet, there is a point back here where they all come together, and I'll talk about that in a second. So right now, going back to this moment now, and here's that order. Here's that important order. Photons are hitting my finger. Photons are hitting everything going into your eye. Analog to digital conversion, and then they get on the wire. Now, what's the path? The wire goes down around the outside of the brain, and it turns toward the back center of your brain, the core of your brain back here, the oldest part of your brain, right above your spinal cord, right under your brain, amygdala. Now, there's two pieces of information that happen in this first piece of path. So I'm going to do it again. I'm going to repeat the heck out of this several times because, ladies and gentlemen, this question that I'm going to ask in a few minutes is worth every bit of money you ever make in your life. This question, you understanding this question so that you start applying these three habits changes everything. And I am not exaggerating. It changes everything. Now, photons go into your eye, analog to digital, and they go down this path. Two pieces of information. Is there anything big coming at my head? Is there anything fast coming at my head? Do you remember I said a few minutes ago that I'm not going to do the blink game, the flinch game? Do you remember that, Mike? I'm not going to swing at you. Do you remember playing that game?
Yes, definitely.
So compare this. Here's my finger now versus I'm swinging at you as fast as I can and I'm trying to get as close as I can. Is there anything big? Is there anything fast happening now? No. Right? There's nothing big coming at your head. There's nothing fast coming at your head. That's what happens in this little stretch. Right back here, though, is where the three big questions happen. The amygdala asks three questions, and this is where everything comes together. Right now, your skin, every physical input that you have hits this spot at about the same time. Okay? The eyes are a little bit faster for most people. But everything hits this spot, and everything goes through these three questions. These three questions, write these down. Is it going to kill me? Can I eat it? Do I want to have sex with it? Those three questions are happening all the time. And I'm not exaggerating, and I don't use absolutes, but I just used an absolute. I said all the time. Consciously, unconsciously, awake, asleep, all the time, these three questions are being asked. I'll prove that in a minute. For now, though, let's get back to our moment in time and this chronological order of things that are happening, because there's one question that I'm going to ask that is the billion-dollar question. So we're back in this moment now. Photons are hitting my finger. Photons are hitting everything. The photons are going in the eye. The photons are hitting the analog to digital converter. The wire goes down here and goes toward the back of the brain. And two questions get asked. Is it big? Is it fast? Then they hit the magic switch. I call this the oh shit switch. The oh shit switch asks three questions. Here we go. You ready? And I want you to answer these, Mike, right now. Is it going to kill you?
No.
Do you want to eat it?
No.
I know I'm cute, but do you want to have sex with it? Let's make believe the answer is no.
No. Yeah. We'll go no for the purpose of the training.
So you don't want to make love to me. Okay. All right. So here's the thing, though, guys. The switch. we're going to talk about in a minute. I gotta speed up, man. I'm sorry. We're gonna speed up here because we're gonna talk. I want to talk about this in a minute. If that switch were to go to yes, some stuff happens. But in the case that we just went through and the moment that we're in now, the switch is in the no position. The switch stays still. Nothing happens. Now the signal turns and it shoots up between the two hemispheres of the brain. So imagine that signal in that moment now, it turns and it literally starts coming towards you through my brain. Or in your brain, it's coming towards me now. This is where all the stuff is labeled. So right now, all of a sudden, all these synaptic connections are connected to this wire or these wires that are running through the middle of your brain. Everything is labeled. Please note that I'm not saying identified. I'm saying labeled. And when I say labeled, what I mean is colors get assigned a number, like, when you're doing HTML programming or whatever, color codes. So imagine right now, every pixel in that circle has a number assigned to it. Not only does it have a number assigned to it, for example, my laptop keyboard area here is black, but there's a shade of black. It's like the light's hitting here and it's darker over there. It's light to dark, so there's like a different shade of black across my keyboard. And then there's the numbers for the letters and the numbers for the shapes of the buttons and the touchpad. So all this color numbers are also assigned a number for a location. Okay? So all this, basically the bitmap for your existence is created in this moment now. Finally, that bitmap hits your frontal lobe. That bitmap, if you will, right? So this is where all the colors are. This is where all the definition is. It's already there. It's all figured out, and it hits your frontal lobe. Now, your frontal lobe gets to make sense of now. Now your frontal lobe gets to say, okay, these funny little, this shape, these colors that are different than the color right next to it, the background, they all make this shape. That shape is in that spot in my reality. That spot is next to this spot, next to this spot, next to that spot. It starts to actually start labeling and identifying what's going on now. Okay. I just walked you through what happens now. Here's that billion-dollar question. What happened first? You knew what was going on, or the switch?
That's a good question.
Can I do it again?
That's one of those subconscious questions.
No, it's not. I told you to write it down. I told you to freaking list out the order of this shit happening. This is not a subconscious question. This is A, B, C, D, E, F, G. You tell me, guys tell me, what happens first? You know what's going on, or the switch? Here's the path again. We freeze this moment in time and we call it now. Photons hit everything. Photons enter your eye. The photons enter your eye. They flip upside down. They hit the analog to digital converter. They go down this path here. The question is it big? Is it fast? There's nothing big and fast happening. Then it hits the switch. The three questions. Do you remember the three questions? Is it going to kill me? Can I eat it? Do I want to have sex with it? Then no is the answer to all three of these questions, because it doesn't matter if it's no or yes. The signal turns. The signal goes through the two hemispheres. All the labeling happens, and then up here, everything is identified. All of a sudden, when it gets up here, the labeling is torn apart, and it's like a big spreadsheet in there. And all of a sudden, it says, okay, this is Clay's finger, this is Clay's nose, this is a shirt. All that stuff gets labeled. So what happens first? The switch, or you know what's going on now?
The switch.
The switch
Yes.
always happens first.
Yes.
Mike, can we go a little bit late? I've got another meeting, but I can delay it. Can we go a few minutes?
We'll hold off a little bit because I want to make sure people still are, because now we have at the point to where they're drawn in.
Here's the thing. You ready? You will never outthink the switch.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
Your unconscious mind, that small, still voice inside your head, the path for that thing to hit your switch is shorter than the photons coming from my finger. Right? The photons take a lot longer to get to the switch than you going, I'm not good enough. You're not good enough to make $1 million this month. You're not good enough to lose 5 pounds. You're not good enough to whatever. That voice will hit that switch way before you know what's going on every time. That's why you being able to increase your awareness of when that switch goes to yes is so important. Your ability in this moment to stand here and feel whether your unconscious mind is messing with you or whether something somebody said messed with you and caused you to get distracted and all of a sudden you're scrolling Facebook instead of doing your homework or whatever you need to be doing. Your ability to be aware is more important than anything else. And there's one habit that amplifies that increases that makes that better more than anything else you can possibly do. Meditation. Meditation, 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 meditation. I haven't been able to connect all the dots. I haven't been able to put it all together. And Mike's going, we can't do this now. I'm sorry. The bottom line is meditate. You have to meditate because I'm gonna do it right here. Mr. Laidler, he's gonna be showing you some shit. He's gonna be showing you some gold. He's gonna hand you some information that if you apply it and you implement it, it's going to change your life. The question is, are you going to apply it? Mm-hmm. That will be determined by your ability to feel when your switch goes, oh shit, I'm nervous, I'm scared, I'm afraid, I can't run a mile, I can only run 9/10 of a mile, whatever that is, your ability to feel when that happens and decide to keep going. This is not one of those hustle grind statements. I'm not talking about hurting yourself, because one of my favorite sayings is if it doesn't feel good, you're doing it wrong. But that feel good thing, that is very important. And that's what we're talking about. Meditate, 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 meditate. I know I mentioned 3 habits, right?
Just give them a quick recap, and then what they can look forward to if they enroll in the course now to hear the rest of your presentation later in the week.
So yeah, I guess, this worked out so perfect. All right, so Wednesday I will finish this conversation, and what this conversation will entail, and we'll probably start it over, and we'll probably do it again, we'll probably go a little deeper. Mm-hmm. But meditation and the other 2 habits, I'm going to tell the other 2 habits. I want you to have these habits. They're journaling, and so meditation and journaling are the 2 most powerful habits that you must have established. Because we're talking about increasing your awareness and rewiring your mind. The single most important thing to meditate on or journal about is gratitude. And the reason gratitude is so important, go check out my Facebook timeline. The last couple of days I did Facebook Lives about it. The reason gratitude is so important is because we are all hardwired to go, oh shit, I'm nervous, I'm scared, instead of yippee, give me more, I want that. We're all hardwired to go, uh-oh, instead of yippee. So by using gratitude, we can rewire our brains to see the optimistic and the positive. And that's why meditation and journaling about gratitude are the 3 core habits that you must develop. I dare you, I challenge anybody and everybody, show me a successful person that is not actively using those 3 habits. Now, they may not call it meditation. They may call it prayer. They may not call it journaling. They may call it, oh, I write down my schedule. Yeah, they're writing shit down and they're meditating one way or another. And I guarantee at some point they're grateful for something every day. Meditate, journal, and gratitude. Practice those habits. Now, these are to summarize that, those are the enabling habits. Those are the habits that will empower you and enable you to get it done. And when I say it, I mean anything. Whether it's make $1 million a month, or whether it's start a new habit of using your schedule, using your calendar right, or going to the gym. I think that answered the question, brother.
Yes, I think we piqued enough interest now for people to want more. And when you guys do want more, contact myself or Clay, and we will get you enrolled in the course. We will tell you some of the specials, and we will let you know, because this is only a teaser of what we have to offer. This is just one session out of many in the whole course. But just think of what Clay just gave you. If we can show you how to not just set your goals, but to achieve them through some of these habits, meditation, journaling, gratitude, think how much further you will be next month, December, January. Just think how farther you can be. And a lot of times we're just setting goals, but we're not achieving them. I think Clay gave you a great reason why you're not. I mean, look at the examples he gave us. I mean, how could you not realize that there's more to it? If you don't understand the switch, how are you going to understand the reaction? You got to know the switch first, and that's what Clay is going to show you guys in this course, the Premier Communications Formula. He's going to walk you through how to understand that part of your mindset to get you to where you need to be.
I love it. I love it. The cool part that I love is I talk to all these successful people now, all these established business owners that have made more money than I can shake. And in some cases, the people I'll typically work with, Michael, are guys that have made a lot of money, but their work-life balance isn't where they want it, and they're stressed out and anxious all the time. And so they've got all these awesome business building practices down. These habits, these principles, which is what you're going to be sharing in the course. Communications. It's like all this stuff is gold, but it's also possibly and easy to use that stuff as a distraction from other important things. The trick is being able to feel it and integrate it and apply it everywhere. It's so important. I'm so excited to be a part of this, man. Thank you.
No, thank you, Clay, and thank you for all that watched. Like I said, if you guys want more, we will be doing a live Zoom course on Wednesday evening, 8:30 Central Time. If anything changes from that, we'll let you know. But we will be going through Zoom. If you want access to the course, Facebook message me. Maybe we can get you on a discounted rate, at least get you into that at least one train to hear Clay so you can hear his presentation on that. It will not be available anywhere else. Let me say it again. It will not be available anywhere else. You have to be part of the course. Now, in the future, if you want even more of Clay, he does mastermind groups. He does his workshops, his seminars. You can get more of him, especially if you want to know just about the whole concept about the state of flow. Remember, he said in the beginning it takes 3 months to actually go through this process. While I would love to say that in the training on Wednesday that it would give you everything you need, I would be naive to say that. So I'm not going to lie to you. It's part of a bigger course, a bigger mindset to help challenge you. Because regardless of who you are, if you want to become successful, it takes time and continuous effort to succeed.
Can you hear me now? I'm sorry. Okay. Here's the trick. Your communications course, it is going to have all the elements.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to have everything that it takes for somebody to figure out how to apply it and how to get it done. The question is, what works for you?
Mm-hmm.
Finding the tactics, finding the principles that work for you. State of flow isn't consciously using the state of flow is a very advanced technique. So, warning, if you go Google it, you start messing with it, don't until you talk to somebody about recovery. That's very important. But you will be given in your course. It is amazing. Of course, I've seen the outline. I've seen everything that you're going to be delivering. Everything's there. People don't need more than you. It cracks me up. Get it done. I love it.
Big thing is about the application. That's what we're aiming for in the end. We can give all the knowledge, but it's up to the client, the student, the participant to go from point A to point B with that information.
Amen.
So, yeah. Well, Clay, thank you for being on today, this beautiful Saturday morning. We look forward to all of you. Make sure you leave comments, you share it. When you have more questions, contact either myself or Clay. Facebook Messenger, obviously we're on Facebook Live. That's the easiest way to find us. If not, we do have email address. We have other websites. We have everything you need. We're not hiding. You can type our names into Google. You can find us. Trust me on that, because I type myself in there periodically, and I'm still there.
You know what? I'm not. Don't use Google to find me. It cracks me up. I guess there's an athlete with my name, and he's selling some shoes, apparently. Let's sell those shoes, brother. I'm good.
So, make sure you find Clay then through Facebook and LinkedIn, because that's how me and him met.
Yeah, LinkedIn. I'm rocking LinkedIn lately. LinkedIn's fun.
But yes, thank you guys. We're going to close out. If you have anything else, feel free to reach out to us. You guys have a wonderful day.
Have fun.